Scott, great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, you're. It's an honor and privilege to speak with you. Honestly, you're one of the best actors in comedy right now, man. I seriously mean that. Congratulations with everything.
I appreciate that. I would encourage you to watch more comedy if that be the case. But
I watch plenty of comedy. Okay,
right.
So I'm just saying. Okay,
Right.
I'm just saying I do.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean what I said. It's interesting, right? Whenever you work on something that has sports in it, I'm wondering how you kind of think about it, right? Because in a lot of ways, you could see it at Running Point as a comedy that has sports in it, or you could see it as like a sports show that has comedy in it. How did it read when you're reading the script for it, even before filming it specifically?
Yeah, I mean that you know, I would agree with you. That was kind of the first question I had, which is how are we going to pull off these basketball scenes, and how much are we going to get in to the actual nuts and bolts of running a basketball team? And I think as the show kind of unfolds, you see that there's an incredible balance of that. You know, we have storylines that are about the locker room and the dynamic within the locker room, but kind of the overall drive is this family, and you know, the relationship between these siblings, and on top of that, it's led by Kate, who plays Isla, and that experience of being, you know, what is referred to as a girl boss, and kind of that dynamic. So many interesting dynamics within one system. It was never, no matter what storyline your character fell into per episode, it was always so rich, and they were always so different, which I think makes for really compelling television, because, you know, each episode is different.
And what is that mindset very quickly also about when you get scripts, that script to screen journey, right? Where you're reading it and like there's things and like storylines with your character and his brother and the family, but then there's also the overall kind of storyline, right? And the funny things that happen with the whole team and everything. Do you separate those two, or are they all part of the kind of the big journey? Because there's like your storyline, but then the overall storyline, right? That might kind of come together.
You know, something I've really come to love about being part of an ensemble is there's so much that is filmed that I'm not around for if my character's not in that scene, and it's just as fun for me to then watch it when it comes out, because you know, in this particular project, I'm not in the editing bay or in the writer's room, so I'm really seeing it for the first time as well, and so it's great to see the execution of that and to see how those actors play off each other. And even when you have, maybe there's an actor in this particular project, like Jay Ellis plays the coach, and for the first couple episodes, I don't really have anything with Jay. And then in episode 3 or 4, kind of having some stuff with him and seeing what he's bringing to the table. And that's when it really opens up and you're like, wow, this show's big and there's a lot happening and it's exciting. And yeah, so I mean, the reason why you get into the business is because you love stories and you love watching them. And so you kind of get the dual pleasure of both being in them and also consuming them.
Absolutely. And last question. I said in the beginning of the interview, spoiler alert, I am a big fan of your work. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, different worlds, you know, different characters, but how separate are past projects for you compared to something like Running Point? Like, do you ever bring mindsets of preparation from something like The Mick, Incoming, No Hard Feelings to something like Running Point, or are they separate once you wrap them?
No, I think you kind of got to try to start from a neutral place on each one and figure out, you know, what makes this particular character tick. But of course, there's so many universal qualities that people have. So there may be some overlap. And then maybe sometimes you'll think like, well, I kind of already did this kind of thing. But you know, I'd love to tell you that, you know, I want to be some sort of Gary Oldman or Daniel Day-Lewis. But I know at the end of the day, it's going to sound like I wake up and eat a pack of cigarettes and 10 Duracell batteries every morning, no matter what I do. So I'm going to start from my voice and just kind of go from there. And but each project has its own little, you know, quirks and nuances, which is what keeps it exciting, because you never know when you're going to get them and you never know what they're going to be.
Running Point's going to drop worldwide on Netflix February 27th. Can't wait for people to check it out. Scott, it was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Petey.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.